ready?
I want to have somebody shout in the hallway for people to come back in.
You have a ding, 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 little bell. Is it ready?
Flash the lights.
I think I've taken a picture when everybody's here. Just take a picture. Put it on
They may
Facebook.
filter in. Yeah, here's where I am. Your status update. Okay, if everyone can start coming in and getting seated, we're going to get started again. Okay, I want to welcome everybody back and give some thank yous to our new lawyer sponsors. They help make the convention affordable for the new lawyers, those who are their first-time attendees and in their early years of practice. Those gold sponsors are Heiling, Dwyer and Associates from Portland, Oregon, Rosenthal, Green and Devlin from Portland, Oregon, and Teichner and DeZuba from Portland, Oregon. One thing we want to remind you before I introduce our next speaker is on the tables you'll find your green evaluation forms. Those are very important because they not only let our speakers know how they did, but they let us know for next year's convention planning what topics you like, what topics you might be interested in hearing. So it's very important to fill those out. You can just leave them on the tables and they'll be picked up after today's session. Okay, our next speaker is going to be addressing an issue that actually puts fear into my heart, but my partner's all for it, and that is having a paperless law office and learning to live in the cloud. Our speaker's name is Steve R. Alvarez. He's a graduate of the University of Washington with a bachelor's in economics. He got his JD from Seattle University School of Law, began practicing law in 1993. When he founded Alvarez Law in Tacoma, he committed to helping the Spanish-speaking community throughout Western Washington. His brother, Kevin Alvarez, is an associate attorney with him and shares in the dedication to provide those in need with support and legal assistance that they require. Please join me in welcoming Steve Alvarez.
Thank you very much. This is a great seminar about technology, and it's a little bit surreal for me to stand here in front of you and discuss this because I don't know how I got this title of being a techie guy, but I have no idea how these things work. The only thing I know is I want to be as efficient as possible and also make money, and I do use technology for that. So one of the things that gravitated me towards the paperless office is in about 2007, I made a move from my old office to my new office, and I saw that as a great time to just get rid of the past and start fresh. So what I did was I just had boxes that I moved into my new office, got rid of furniture, got rid of everything, bought new computers, and started this journey of having a paperless law office. Now, around that same time, there was the introduction of iPhones and tablets and mobile devices to the masses, which I quickly latched onto. I really liked the idea of not only having a paperless law office, but also be able to remote and to go into my office when I'm not in my office. And that's the way to do it. When you were needing to get information, I would go into my phone, and then I would go quickly into my office. And to get to that point, you need a paperless law office. You need to have everything paperless. we're living in great times now. This is great because now, as you can see, everybody here has got either a computer or I see a lot of iPads and everybody's playing on their iPhones or phones or whatever mobile devices you have. We all now have this power that before the big companies used to have. So I really encourage all of you to take advantage of this and to think about how paperless can work in your office. Now, one of the things, though, is to go to paperless, especially in a law office setting, is that we still have to do the same things that lawyers have been doing for centuries, and that is we're information processors. We have to accumulate as much information as you can in a case and quickly access it in the moment's notice, and we have to know our case. Especially if we're all plaintiff attorneys, or pretty much I think we're all plaintiff attorneys, we have the burden of proof. We're the ones that have to show our case, and we have to prove all these elements. We have to have those documents to provide the foundation of everything. So it is very important to get as much information as possible. So what happens in this scenario then is you accumulate boxes and boxes of paper. From the simplest case to the most complex case, it creates so much records, so much paper, from records, police reports, I can't even go down the list. And now with people receiving emails, now we're having to deal with emails on top of the paper. So it is important to sit back and consider what it is that you need to do in a case and try to go into a paperless format. Now, although thankfully I don't have any pictures from my old office, this is obviously not a paperless office, but this is, I'm assuming some people's offices look like this. So as you can see, I'm sure this attorney, whoever works on this office, knows where everything is at. We all have our own system, we all have our own piles that we deal with. But what this does is creates clutter. Here's another office, which actually, this is actually pretty clean office. Colleague of mine, who actually has the most cleanest paper-centric office I've ever seen, has everything in 3-ring binders. But as you can see, it takes up so much space. He's not here, is he? No, I don't think he's here yet. And this is my office. This is actually my desk. This is to show you that I'm still struggling with paper. This is actually on a bad day when I had to deal with so much. But as you can see, a lot of it's also on my computer desk. I have my laptop connected to a display. So, so this is the way my office looks like at its worst. So this topic of paperless office living in a cloud, I gave it the title. And that was I wish I thought about it, because actually that's 2 topics. One is paperless, and the other one is cloud computing. This cloud computing is a brand new technology right now. Paperless office, what they talk about, what paperless office is, it eliminates the use of paper, converts everything to a digital file, and makes the digital files accessible, and outgoing information also is in digital format. Whereas cloud computing is just like what the picture shows. It's actually you with a computer going and just out there alone and accessing information from something that is above you, cloud. I will talk about cloud computing after paperless, but I wanted to cover paperless office first, and then talk about how once you have a paperless office, how to use that. So the benefits, it goes without saying, the benefits of paperless. It saves a lot of room. You have much more room. It's all on a digital file now, and it's all on your computer, so you don't need to have all those 3-ring binders that you saw in the previous picture. You're able to retrieve the information as quickly as possible and file it as quickly as possible. You're scanning the documents rather than what usually happens is you either punch holes and have to move folders or move the piles and storing it into a paper file in a 3-ring binder. You have an enhanced ability to search voluminous documents. You can have a 500-page document, and you want to find any reference to any prior back page, just press the word back and it'll take you right away to it. I'll explain a little bit about that later on how you can do that. saves office costs of postage and paper. It looks organized, and it's good for the environment. But for me, all of those reasons wasn't the reason why I wanted to go paperless. The reason why is because I just hate clutter. I hate clutter, and this is the real reason. This is actually my receptionist's desk at the front office, which kind of slash legal assistant. That's actually on a typical day. You can see there's no paper, although there's paper on the left there, which needs to be scanned, and underneath that is what is letterheads and envelopes. But that's the way it usually looks, and it really warms my heart every time I come into the office or I leave and I come and I still see it like that. I don't know why, but that's the way I've always been. I've always wanted to have things orderly, clean, and I don't want to see clutter anywhere. This is the workstation. So right there, that big white machine is a copy machine that I use as a scanner. And what I do is scan it, and it goes into that silver box down there. So this is my paralegal's desk. That's another. That's probably her on a bad day too. There's paper to deal with, and that's the thing that I want to really relay, that you still have to deal with the paper, and if you and you have to just be really adamant on how you're going to deal with this paper that's coming into your office. I am a firm believer in getting rid of as much as I can and only keeping the bare minimum, and I'll go down the list of what I keep later. So 10 steps. When I first went into, when I first started, as I said, to go paperless, it was back in '07, I really just dove right into it. At that time, there wasn't too much information about law offices going paperless, so I just started doing it and made stuff up as I went along. And it was very frustrating for me because it requires some knowledge of computers. It requires you to be able to know how things are going to be organized in the office, because you still need to have organization. In a paperless office, you would think it organizes itself, but really it's a lot more work sometimes to organize it. But once you take the time and really focus on having a paperless office, it'll really pay off in dividends. So the first step, and I wish I took these steps when I first started, but the first step is to really look at what your organizational system is right now. How do you deal with your incoming information? All the mail, all the legal pleadings, all the information, that even emails. How is it that you deal with that? And how would a paperless system help that? And also look at how you send stuff out. I know a lot of us send out either demand, well, some of us send demand letters, or when we're sending out requests for productions, or we're sending out discovery information. How is it that you do it now, and how would a paperless system help that? The second step, it goes without saying, you need to purchase a scanner. There's many scanners out there. I don't want to get too detailed on scanners. One of them, I got two that seems to be the popular ones with some offices. The one on the right is a Fujitsu, and the one on the left is a ScanSnap. Get a scanner that can load a lot of pages at one time. So some 50, 60 pages per minute are good. Get one that scans double-sided paper, and make sure the scanner does color pictures. Sometimes, like for example, you get either pre-hearing statement or arbitration packets that have colored pictures. It's good to be able to, that the scanner download and scan over colored pictures. That's my scanner, as I showed earlier. That's my scanner. I wish I didn't buy that actually, but when I moved into the office, I thought all law offices have to have a big machine like that. But either way, I use that, and it works well for me. The second or the third thing you need to do is purchase software to not only convert this paper into a digital file, but make the digital file versatile. And Kelly was talking about how in the PDFs you can annotate and you can highlight, you can put comments. That's the beauty of PDFs. PDFs, which means portable document format, it's the most accepted format that one uses now when it scans information. There's other formats called, I think there's one called TIFF, but those aren't as versatile, and those aren't as small as PDFs. Small meaning that you're able to send them in emails and quickly. Now, the other aspect of a PDF is what's called OCR. OCR meaning optical character recognition. Optical character recognition, what it does is it looks at the PDF and makes all the text, which all the writings on there, searchable. And like I stated earlier, how when the PDF can make it really easy for one to search voluminous information or voluminous documents for words. OCR really has benefited me a lot when it comes to looking at mounds and mounds of paper. So here's an example. I don't know if you could see that clearly, but this is a client of mine who was injured in a car crash. She had to have surgery on her left knee. And I was looking at her in order to show that this was caused by the crash, or at least to, in my mind, make sure that this is related to the crash. I requested her prior records. And on the top, you could see there's it's 72 pages. Normally, back before 2007, I would have to, or have somebody else look at 72 pages to see any references for knee. But now, up in what I can do is just put in the word knee, which is up there on the right, and put in knee, and then it took me to 2 places which references knee. Thankfully, in this case, it was the right knee that she was having issues with. But that saves me a lot of time and effort to look for documents. So the fourth thing that one should do when converting to paperless is purchase a case management system. When you're dealing with a case, you have to be organized. You have to know all the contacts, all the people who are involved in the case, and their phone numbers and their fax numbers and their emails. You need to know you need to know all the tasks that you have to do in a case. You need to know all the court appearances you have to make. And in the old days, you would just write it down or have it somewhere in a file written down. Well, if in a paperless system, there are many computer programs that can carry all this information in one place. And I put up there some of the programs that I found to be beneficial. The one for all the Mac users, the one on the left, Daylight, I would fully recommend that because I use that, and it's made my office much more organized and much more productive. But for PC users, PC meaning Microsoft, or attorneys or Microsoft users, there's Amicus, which a friend of mine uses, and I've seen it, and it's very good. There's also CLEs. I think a few members in the Washington State Bar already got some of those in the mail. Advertising that, I've checked into that. Those are good. There's Needles, Rocket Matter. Those, whatever program you want to get, you should wholeheartedly move towards that. That way, it has settings to give you reminders. There are even applications now where for all your mobile devices that would sync up with all these programs. The fifth thing one needs to do when converting to a paperless office is get good computers. All these documents that you scan in and put it into a computer file, it's not going to do you any good if you can't make the computer work. Get good computers. And I'm not trying to advertise, but I've been using Apple computers now for 7 years now, and it's really helped out a lot. I don't have to deal with the computers too often, and I just bought the laptop that's right here. I bought that just recently, and that was the new one after 5 years of the old laptop. So those are good computers. But there's other computers good as well. I know there's good Dell computers, Samsung. But get yourself powerful computers that have storage and are fast, and don't allow too many viruses in there. Have a powerful virus system. to keep the viruses out. Now, in a paperless office, because now instead of looking at 3-ring binders or paper, you're looking at it on a computer, on a computer desktop or on a computer monitor. It's important to have dual monitors or have as many monitors as you can. That way you can put everything on your monitor. You can have it in more than one place. Many of us, when we're either writing a brief or writing a demand letter, have multiple documents that we're looking at. We're looking at medical records. We're looking at deposition transcripts. We're looking at websites. We're looking at a lot of things all at once to put together one document. It's good to have dual monitors so that way one can cut and paste between documents and putting in one. I find myself always using dual monitors. In fact, here's a picture of my dual monitor there. You could see that right there on my laptop, there's my daylight. And then on there, on the big display is a couple of documents there that I think I was working on the material for this seminar. But this also makes it very productive. I read somewhere that it makes you 40% more productive to have dual monitors. Now, but the only caveat to that also gives you space to look at Facebook, Twitter, and so be mindful of that. The sixth step to converting to a paperless law office is you have to have some sort of procedure on how you're going to deal with all the mail that you're getting, the legal pleadings, emails, and faxes. You have to sit down and see who's going to look at what, how is he going to get in who's going to do the scanning and who's going to look at the documents and how is it going to get looked at, because it could be easily lost. You could scan without you looking at it and oh boom, you miss an important date, which is actually, I have to say, I'm humble as I am, it's happened to me a few times. So I've had to work on this procedure. Now what we do in our office is once we scan, it goes into one file. And if you could see right there in the middle, it says outgoing. I apologize, I might not see it, but there's a folder there called outgoing. Right to the right of that is all the scanned files. They're all scanned in numbers. I think the number is starts with the year, date, or the year, month, date, time, whatever else. I don't even know those numbers, but that's the way it gets scanned in. So in order to then make it useful for you and also make it accessible for future use, it's important to rename it in a way that it'll show up well in the computer. It'll document itself in a chronological way. So what we do is rename it the way how it's written on the bottom. And to be more explicit, we start with the year, the month, and the day. We put hyphens in between and the document name. Well, I find this is the best way that the computer I guess the way how it shows up on there in a chronological way is the best way for me to look at all the stuff that gets, all the documents that I have in a case. So as an example, there on the right, the second file there, it shows the answer. The first one was a notice of appearance. Now, for those of us, now there's certain people that actually are not, don't want to spend time document anything like that or writing in there. You just want to scan it and put it into something. There are third-party applications that do all the organizing for you. I don't know, I have only started using Devon Think, but there's also Evernote and CaseMap, and I think there are a few other applications, but what they are is, there are applications where you dump all your documents into these programs and allow you to search for them. It recognizes the text and allow you to search it and organize it for you. I would, I would really suggest that people who are really interested in that to do the research and look at these programs. The seventh step in converting to a paperless office is establish a policy and procedure regarding sending out information. As soon as you scan all the documents in, the way that we send out documents a lot of times is putting them on CD or burning them onto a CD. The problem with that is sometimes the people on the receiving end, especially because I have a Mac, for one reason or another, I get like complaints sometimes that they're not accessible. I know of a few insurance companies that that actually will not even look at the CD and request a paper file. I think Geico is one of them. So if you ever deal with Geico, know that you can't send them CDs. But I do believe that the times are changing, and hopefully one day that we'll able to we'll be able to email large documents, which now apparently we can't. At least I can't. So the 8th step is hire a shredding company. When I first started going paperless, I thought I was being diligent and having a shredder there and shred all these documents piece by piece, or like by few papers. But what's happened is it creates a lot of mess, because you're having to first of all have somebody put it into the machine, and then the next person is having to take it out of that machine, creating all this mess. So what we've done is hire a shredding company that takes all the paper. They do it there at the office, so it's all confidential. The 9th step, and this is the most important, I think this is one of the most important, is having a backup system. Since now everything is on a computer, it could be gone like that. So it's important to not only have one backup system, but have 2 backup systems. And it's important to have the backup systems be automatic. So what it means is there's no need for anybody to do anything. Once you get it started, it does it on its own. For all the Mac users, I'm sure you're familiar with Time Machine, which backs up every hour. But there are PC users, I'm sure there are other programs out there. But find a backup system that is both on-site, which is at your office, and one outside of your office. Because fires can happen, people can burglarize your office, there are many things that can happen, so it's important to have it outside of your office. And 10, the most, hiring a computer expert is important sometimes, but they can be so expensive. Fine, but there are all these steps I just mentioned. They're going to have its quirkiness. They're going to have its issues. So it's important to sometimes that, since we're attorneys and we don't know about computers, it's important to find somebody that not only knows your system but can help you get to where you want to be. Now, once you've scanned everything and you have a paperless law office, how are you going to access it? And that's right there really the beauty of it, because you can either put the information in your office, but then how are you going to get it? And I know there is a way to actually access a server from anywhere, but now, and this is a brand new thing that we're all dealing with now. It's called cloud computing, and this is something my daughter did for me. This is kind of an example of what cloud computing is. So basically, what it is a company. It's a provider that will now host all your information that you let it host, and give secure access to anybody who has access to this information. Here, let me do that again. So the way it works is you put it into the cloud. They create a cloud, so you put something there and it rains down on everybody the same way. So I don't think was it in the Bible it says that it rains on the just and unjust alike? It's kind of like that. So once you put it up in the cloud, everybody has the same information. So I can be in Israel, and I could be at my office. I could put something up there in my office in Tacoma. They can see what I put up there, and then I can see what they put up there. And to take it even one step further, we can put our whole office now into a cloud. We can put our billing programs. We could put our Word programs. We could put everything on there. All we need is just a computer, and then we logging on into the cloud, and then we're there. We have all the information. So this cloud computing has many benefits. It lowers the cost. The lowering the cost, the cost that it lowers is having a server in your computer to house all your information. You will no longer now need some computer guy to come, some computer tech guy to come and actually work on your computer. You have no need now to maintain that server, update it, and do all the like things that drives us crazy sometimes, our computers. The cloud provider will now do all of that for you, and they do it for a monthly fee, and the monthly fees range from about 25, I've seen it up to 55, but still, if paying $55 and it's guaranteed to work and guaranteed access, I would pay that. Universal access, you have access from anywhere, as I was saying, anywhere in the world. And everybody has access. You can have access on your iPad, on your mobile devices, and your phones, and on your computers, as well as having access in the office. Everybody shares in one access to one information, and better reliability. As you have now, it's more reliable if a company is doing the tweaking and the updating, and you don't have to do that. But like everything, there's a flip side to that point. There are certain pitfalls to this. It's very dependent on the network. You need an internet connection. And how it works, what happens sometimes is either the Wi-Fi doesn't work, or there's issues of not able to get it fast enough. And even if you have a connection, getting easy access. I know of a few people who have gone cloud computing, have that problem sometimes in syncing up, because what happens is one person's working on one document and syncs it, and somehow the other person doesn't catch the sync, and then it causes a confusion on what the documents are that they're syncing, and it could turn into a mess. And the most important issue I think that we have to deal with as attorneys is security issues. Since we're putting now our clients' information into the hands of a third party, we have our duty of confidentiality. And yes, I'm going to talk about ethics here for a second. We have a duty of confidentiality and a duty of protecting our clients' property from being lost. And these are important things that we have to consider when moving to the cloud. I provided a material to the bar opinions from both the Washington State Bar and the Oregon Bar. And after reading those, they pretty much say, yes, you can, attorneys are allowed to use cloud computing as long as they take the reasonable care to ensure that the information is confidential and to ensure that the information is secure from getting lost or stolen. The Oregon Bar says the same thing. So these are certain checklists that you have that I've come up with regards to the ethical duties. Know the risks of online cloud computing. Just get yourself familiarized with what cloud computing is all about. Familiarize yourself with the practices of the cloud provider. Just find out just do some search on Google and find out if this company, whatever company that one is interested in housing all this information, if they have a good reputation of keeping the information secure. And making sure that whatever agreement that you have with the cloud provider, that if it ends, that you can quickly get back the information without them holding on to anything. And also to make sure that the cloud provider provides you with warning if somehow there's a breach into the information. And make sure the cloud provider provides a backup system. But don't let that scare you, because easily somebody could, as I said, come into your office and steal it from you. So having your information in the cloud is very secure. At least all the companies that I've looked at, and I'm in the material I provided a few companies, they are very secure. They have passwords. They have a system set up where only you have access. But of course, nothing is foolproof. So be mindful of that. Now, I know we attorneys are resistant to change. we are so beholden to precedent, and we hate change. I hate change, but this is a new system. This is a new thing going on, and I think it'll make your office much more organized, and you'll be able to work more. I don't know if you want to work more, but you're able to work in places that now that so you don't have to be so at the office all the time. So that's it. Thank you very much. Any questions? Wow, a lot of questions. All right. Yes, sir.
You said it's totally paperless office, and I sometimes end up with original client documents. Do you keep those in your office, or do you get them somewhere else in your office and leave them with the client? What do you do with these?
Okay, yes. And in my material, I did say what I actually keep. Oh, I'm sorry. The question was that what original documents do I keep for my client? And what I do keep is the retainer. And I do keep the original HIPAA release form. Personally, I also keep medical records because one day I might have to send that out, so I don't want to make another copy of that. Police reports, and every now and then some discovery information. But as far as the medical records, I'm gravitating now to just getting rid of everything and just keeping the retainer in the HIPAA form. I don't know, maybe I can get rid of that as well, but I'm still somewhat old school, so I keep that for now. Yes?
Could you go over again what you said about the OCR? How you can use it?
Yes, the question was if I can talk about the OCR or what OCR is. OCR, like I stated, is optical character recognition. So let me see if I can go to the, if I can go to, I'm sorry about that. I could have just, there we go. Okay. So what it does, there is, I think it's called Adobe Acrobat. What it does, it would look, say you scan some document in. There are programs, and it's not just Adobe, there are a few other ones, but I use Adobe. What it does is go through all of the pages, and it starts recognizing the text in each one of those pages. So every word that's written, every letter is now recognizing that. So if you're looking at a page, 72-page file, OCR now will allow you to search whatever text it's on each one of those documents. So in that case, like in the case that I have there where I wanted to look at any mention of knee, it looked at 72 pages and it brought me to the reference or brought me to the place where it referenced knee pain or any mention of knee. So what that does is it lets me know right away where everything is at, the page number. Over there on the left, it states right there with two places where knee is mentioned. And up there's right below the search where it says knee, I don't know if people can read, it says found on 2 pages. So that way, when I look at multiple documents, or I'm looking at a document that has many pages, or even a few pages, I like to go right to where a certain word is mentioned. So, for example, like if you want to know the name of a person, if it's mentioned anywhere in the document, you could just go right to it. It's a little bit like the deposition transcripts too, where you want to see all the references to whatever word is mentioned, you can go right to it. So OCR makes that possible. I use that a lot. Yes, sir.
Steve, I was wondering about this cloud computing. They talk about the cloud. It's not really a cloud as I understand it. It's actually being held in some warehouse somewhere, right? Your information is someplace on Earth, right?
Yes.
Where on Earth it is? Like Clio is a Canadian company, I think. So I was kind of nervous about having all my stuff kept in like Canada. Is that an issue, do you think?
I think it's an issue, and the question is, cloud is really not a cloud. It's actually a company, and then that's what I was saying. It's actually it's a company that now is going to hold all your clients' information. So, you know, I didn't know it was from Canada, but yes, that would give me pause, and I wouldn't do it. But it's important, and like I was saying, the bar actually has come in and stated opinions on this. It's important to actually look at what the company does, how it protects the information, how it, if there's any problems, if it has any problems before with breaching. I think there was, I think a huge company had information from a lot of major companies, and it was breached. And so it does happen. But cloud is just basically a kind of a symbolism of what it actually happens. Yes, it is a company that holds the information, and it allows people secure access to only people who have that permission. Yes, sir. It wasn't a question, so I think everybody heard that. Yes.
Steve, in your office, how do you handle the scanning? Do you have certain times where somebody does all the scanning at once, or you do it as things come in?
The question is, how do I do the scanning at my office? Yes, what we do is, well, it's not so much, it's not a black and white. When we get the mail, it gets all opened up, and then it gets put into a stack, and then the person in charge of scanning it does it. We get ABC messengers coming in twice a day, so it gets scanned in after it's been whatever date stamped and done what needs to be done with it. But the actual importance is for me to look at it, or the other attorney in the office to look at it. So that's why there is an inbox that we all look at first and then we just say, okay, you can look at you can put it away. But it's important that the attorney looks at the scanned document first. So there's no set time. It's whenever we get the documents, and then it gets scanned in. Yes. Takes hours. No. No, it just depends. If it's a heavy day, my staff has gotten really good in scanning the information. It takes a few minutes. The big thing is for us just to, as soon as the information gets scanned in, for us to look at it, the attorney. So once it gets scanned in, so it just paper gets, whatever mail we receive, opened up, date stamped, it's put into a pile, and then it's put into the scanner, and then it's scanned, whatever document by document, and it's put up there, it's there on the computer, and then that's it. And then it's put into a box where then it goes to the shredder. I was told that was the last question, so thank you very much. Hopefully it helped.
Thank you, Steve. And if there are any other questions, I'm sure Steve can answer them at the reception or wherever you see him here. Our next speaker, many of us know from our own TLA websites. So help me to welcome Kent Hughes. He is the President and CEO of TrialSmith.com, which is based in Austin, Texas. Kent was one of the original founders when TrialSmith was formed by the Texas Trial Lawyers Association in 1996. His focus is in developing tools to assist plaintiffs' lawyers in investigative research. He has authored 2 patents at TrialSmith. TrialSmith has the largest database of expert testimony available on the web. And he's going to share with us today some great tips for online research, jury research, expert investigations, list server tips, and other tools, which some of you may know, and hopefully after today all of you will know, are available on the Oregon Trial Lawyers Association website and the Washington State Association for Justice websites, right there for all of us to access just by having our membership in these great organizations. Please help me in welcoming Ken.
Thank you. Well, in case you want to know, we're frying eggs on the sidewalk back in Austin, Texas right now. It's hot. And it's just great being up here in the Northwest. Y'all have got beautiful weather, and we're having a great time, and we appreciate all the hospitality. What I'm going to do today is give you some really hot tips and search tips on how to access and mine information at the Washington site and the Oregon site. And I think what you're going to get out of this is there's going to be hopefully be some wow factor, like I didn't know I could do that. This is really easy to run these searches. So I'm going to show you some search tips, list server tips. There's a great way to mine information at the website for list server information as well. But talking about cloud computing, if you think about TrialSmith and really Washington and Oregon site, we host over 9 million documents and list server messages that are exclusively for the plaintiff bar on our servers. And the list servers, there's over 480 different list servers. There's about 42,000 plaintiff lawyers that network on this. And what's really amazing is you can run one search and search everything that you are entitled to search. We're going to talk about that. But you can run the one search, and so part of my presentation is due diligence really does start with a search of TrialSmith. So I want to tell you how this got started. Back in '97, the plaintiff lawyers in Texas said, you know, it's really crazy that we're not keeping better track of these experts and their testimony. That's really where it all started. And the lawyers in Texas put together about $1 million to get this started, and they've now put over 500,000 depositions in this database. It's a huge archive, and there's a whole lot more to it. And I'm going to show you how to search all those documents and databases. So for those of you who have contributed content to this, you might see your stuff up there today. We'll see some names up, and we're going to look at some of the experts who are your good friends today. We're going to investigate some of these guys, and we'll have a little fun with that. So everything I'm going to show you, though, is accessible at the Washington site or the Oregon site or on your iPad if you've got that, or your iPhone. I personally don't like to search. When I'm doing research, I prefer to do it on my keypad, but it's whatever you want to do, it works on in both places. So I'm going to switch locations here so I can type. I'm going to sit down and type. Okay, that's working. So the first thing I want to tell you is how many people have logged into the Washington or Oregon site? You going to see a show of hands? Pretty good number. How many people have searched? Okay. The first thing you need to know, if you haven't accessed the site before, there is a link at the top of the site. There's a login button, and there's a little button there that says "Forgot Password." Just click that and put your email address in, and your association will send you your login credentials. That's how you get into the things I'm going to show you today. Starting out with the listserv. How many people is everyone on the listserv in the room? Can I kind of see a show of hands? Anyone avoiding the listserv? Okay, too much mail. I've got some tips for you. Okay, now if you're avoiding the listserv, let me tell you, you're missing out probably on the best asset that you've got with the association, because there's a ton of information and documents. So to get to the listserv at the Oregon site or the Washington site, you're going to go to the Professional Resources tab, and under Eagle, there's the Eagle listserv link, or you can get it under it through Member Resources List Server. Do a click, and we're right there. Under the Oregon site, you've got your different options here. Under the Oregon site, Right under their member resources, there is a link. It's the first drop-down item, excuse me here. It's the OTLA email list servers. This is kind of large. Let me kind of zoom out on this a little bit. So once you get in here, there's a couple of things you need to know. How often do you want to stop the mail and you feel like you need to call Gerhard or Beth and say, can you turn my mail off? I'm having a big trial here. You can do all this at the site. If you log in, there's to the website, there's browse, search, change your list server settings. It works the same way on both sites. And once you get in, you'll notice that if you change your settings, you can come in and set your mail to vacation mode, web-only mode. That means you can stop the mail. So this, for those of you who aren't on the list because you don't want any mail, my first tip is go ahead and sign up anyway and just turn the mail off. That way you can still search all of the messages at the site, or you can browse them in real time. The other thing, browsing, I find this to be a real helpful tool. If you have trouble keeping up with what's going on or it's too much mail and you rather monitor it at the site, we'll go to the OTLA list, for instance, or the OTLA site, and my favorite option is this little threaded button. If you click threaded, what it does is it organizes the messages by the original post followed by the responses. So to me, it's really easy to quickly scan the question. You can click the question, and at the bottom of the screen you can see the question, and then you can look at the answers. So the threaded option to me is a really easy way to browse the messages in real time. But the real trick to me is searching. Now, this is not hard. Anybody can do this. For those of you, I talked to some people out in the hall earlier, and they said, no, I have my paralegal, she does that. Someone says, my investigator does the searching. Well, I want to show you how easy it is to search. At the Oregon site, there's a big search button at the top of the screen. You just click search. It takes you to this screen that says power search. At the Washington site, they've got a nice little box up here right at the top of the site for you to search. Now, let's look up one of your friends here in Washington. How about Alan Tenser? Let's look this guy up. Okay, so we enter the name Alan Tenser, and really, guys, it's this easy. This is a key part of this program. I want the takeaway to be, I can do this. So I'm going to press enter. I enter the name Alan Tenser. Always start out just with a name. If you'll notice what's happening, it's looking at all the possible matches. And over here on the left-hand side of my screen, I have all the information organized by database. So right under the Washington Justice.org, these are documents that only the Washington Justice members can access. And you'll notice if you're an Eagle member, you've got 56 documents here that you can access specifically. So we were talking about the list server. There's a link here on the Washington site for list servers, so I'm going to click these list messages. And as I scroll up here, we see that we've got messages here that have been posted about Tenser. Here's Suone deposing Tenser today. Suone's on staff. I didn't know she did depositions. She's doing some research for a member here, but you can see that you can come in and all of this stuff is just right here at your fingertips. All you have to do is click the message and read the response on the screen. But over on the left-hand side of the screen, it's telling us we also found something in trial news about this expert, Alan Tenser. And if we click on trial briefs, there are 36 trial briefs about Alan Tenser. We can go through and click and view those items. So it's really easy to drill and mine into this. And the other part about TrialSmith is it's part of this network. So with a single search, and in your paper that I passed out today, everything I'm going to show you is free to do. We'll let you do this for free for 6 months. So all the TrialSmith content, at the same time you're looking nationally, show me every deposition on Alan Tenser. and it pulled up 17 transcripts that have been contributed from lawyers across the country. Has the expert ever been challenged? You can click on expert challenges, Daubert, Kumo, and Fry cases, and again, you just click on a document to view it. It's all in PDF format, so this works on an iPad as well. You can read about the cases. One of the things I like best are these similar searches. So we've got so many great examples here of when lawyers have a case, they find that someone else is dealing with the same expert in a totally different case, sometimes in the same building. So what we're doing on similar searches is telling you who else, which other plaintiff lawyers have done a search similar to yours most recently. So a lot of times, your colleagues have already built a case around this expert. They can give you a lot of information. So we give you their contact information. You can click their name and send them an email if you like. That's all. Again, we just did one search. And then down here, state and federal case law. With one click, you can open up a search, and it says connect to fast case. So it looks at all state and federal case law and pulls back every case with Allen Tensor listed in it, every published case. And here's the case. We're having trouble with our screen size here, but you get the idea. This is all part of the system. It's easy to come in and run these searches and look at these cases. So again, single search access. Any questions about that? Okay, let's try this at the Oregon site. We're going to look up another one of your friends, Lawrence Binder. Do y'all know Lawrence Binder? We're going to come to the search. We're just going to put in Lawrence Binder. Click search. And again, the information's organized on the left. All I have to do, I'm going to target my listserv messages first because there's a lot of information there. And you'll notice that when the searches come back, one of the things I wanted to point out here is you notice it's searching all of the lists that I belong to. So how many people are a member of both Washington and Oregon trial lawyers? Okay. Now you guys get double information. And the reason is when you belong to both organizations, it doesn't matter which site you search at, but you get all the list messages. So if you're dealing with experts in the area, this general area, belonging to both organizations lets you search both databases from one website. So you can be logged in at the Washington site or the Oregon site, and it will search all of your listserv messages. So again, I can click and drill into these different folders. Well, one of the things I want to tell you when you're looking at these results, sometimes you look for an expert and you may find hundreds of matches, right? It's just too much to dig through. There's a link at the top that says refine your search. It's the same one on every search folder or database you click on. If you click refine your search, you can actually modify the search that's being performed. So let me just give you an example of this. We're going to look for another expert by the name of Charles Bain. And I have a lot of information here on this guy just to give you an example. But when you do a search, you'll notice on list messages, you can start with just the expert's name. That's what I always recommend. But then you've got all these Google terms. You can say, include the exact phrase. So if you're looking where Charles Bain has testified on shoulder dystocia or a specific injury, you can easily modify your search here with those terms, and that will narrow down the results. So let's do a Charles Bain search. And we found 160 messages. That's a lot of stuff, and a lot of this from other jurisdictions. I want to refine this search, and to me, this is one of the best tools to find hot documents at the Oregon and Washington site. When you're looking for an expert or really any topic, if you're looking for briefs, pleadings, and forms, come down to message attachments and say show only messages with attachments. And we'll run the search again. This time, we get all these hot documents. These are all list messages with hot documents about, here's an order to exclude Bain from testifying, and you can just drill through and see all of these different documents that lawyers have submitted. So again, just by refining your search, we're looking at the list messages, we can say only show messages with attachments, and you can then narrow the list down very easily. We could look for things like head injury as well, and click search, and you'll see it even further narrows the list down to only those items where there are matches. This time we had no matches on the listserv messages with the phrase head injury. You think that's pretty easy to do? It's fairly easy to do. Really, the lawyers on our board feel like it's malpractice if you don't run the search. There's just that much stuff here. If you don't run a search, you don't know what you're missing out on. So again, I would always start with a basic search at the site. And again, Washington makes it very easy. There's a link at the top. And Oregon has, again, a search button here. Or if you're on the home page of the Oregon site, you can go right over to the side of the site. And there is actually a search box. Search OTLA, you can put it right in here. The other thing I wanted to show you today was we have a couple of new tools at trialsmith.com, and one of them is what we call our expert knowledge map. And if you've got an important case and you're trying to dig everything you can on an expert, this new report, we actually have investigators that use a lot of different databases outside of the plaintiff bar, where we boil everything down into one report on this expert. And they've got all of their professional history and publications and everything in one giant document. So this is something that's brand new that's come out. And then in addition, we have JurySmith, and this is also in your packet, where we have these juror profile reports. And basically, we mine all this information into a similar PDF report on any juror if you'd like to run a juror profile report. And these are like $11, and many firms are now using this to even run on experts. It really, you can use it for anything you need in your case. But we run 5 of these searches for free for you. So if you'd like to try this out and run this on some jurors or anyone, you can order up some of these profile reports as well. So those are 2 of the new resources that are available there. I want to take you back to the Oregon site the Washington site, and tell you a couple of things about their database. The Eagle Exchange is where they have a lot of documents and information. You have to be an Eagle member to access these items. You see we did a search here on Alan Tenzer, and you can access very easily all of these documents and that they have placed in their database here. If you're not an Eagle member, you won't be able to click on this folder, but it's easy to upgrade if you'd like access to that. And then at the Oregon site, they have something similar. They have a database. Their documents are in their store, basically. So if I run the search on Lawrence Binder again, you'll notice that they have in their store 45 matches. So I click there, and I've got a list of the different documents that they have available on Binder. So it looks a little bit different, but it's the same type of thing. You can basically instantly search and access this. And it is full text searchable. So any questions about search at this point? Yes, ma'am.
Can you look for experts the other way? If you don't have the name of an expert, can you find an expert on a particular topic?
Yeah, so the question is, if you don't have the expert's name, can you sort of look by topic or area? Yes, you can. So if I click search and put in an injury, or let's say shoulder dystocia, ran the search again, it would pull back everything containing those matches, organized by database. Yes. We have lawyers do that a lot. They want to see how to depose an expert on some sort of case involving a brain surgeon or whatever. You can add as many terms as you like to whittle down the search results. Any other questions about this? Now, in terms of the cloud, you saw the law firm that Steve showed you with all the binders. TrialSmith will scan all of your depositions for free. Now, Washington provides a similar service, but if you would like us to scan all those, we will do that, and we put them all online in the cloud at TrialSmith. So we share them only with plaintiff lawyers. That's one of the things I wanted to tell you. We exclusively work with the plaintiff bar. And we have a vetting process. So in order to get into the TrialSmith database, just so you know, everybody gets vetted as part of that process. One other item I'd like to talk about today is the listserv. The listserv is, do y'all think it's secure? Okay. Well, you know, I have the joy of seeing all these subpoenas and stuff that have been flying around lately, and I want to give you a few security tips about the listserv. First of all, when you're in the listserv, you have to assume that whatever you send out is going to be in the newspaper tomorrow. I mean, it's secure, but people sometimes forward stuff, right? And let me tell you, we can track forwards. So it's not a good idea to forward a message because there are fingerprints in every message that goes out. So we are concerned about security. You don't want to get caught with messages. But just to give you an example of what happened in Maryland recently is a member thought they'd help out one of their colleagues by providing 120 copies of messages from lawyers talking about a defense lawyer. So that plaintiff lawyer thought he was helping out and turned over 120 messages where lawyers were slamming a defense lawyer. And so that turned into litigation and subpoenas and stuff, and it was all stopped. The court sided with the association. But the key thing you need to know, if you post something that's inflammatory or subjective, there's a good chance it's going to get forwarded. And mainly because people go to church with, you know, other lawyers, or they have golf buddies. So really exercise care and caution on the listserv. That's a big thing I want to stress today. If you go off the deep end and you really go off on an expert or another lawyer, there's a good chance someone's going to forward it. So be extra careful with that. And again, don't forward, because we can track that. We actually can track forwards. We know who's forwarding, and we can also tie those messages back to you individually. So be careful with that. Any other questions about search at this point? Because I've given you the short tips that I have here. And I hope that you'll get online and do some searching. There's a lot of information here available at the site. And one of the things that we're doing here, the TrialSmith documents, which includes all the case law for state and federal courts, in your CLE paper here, there is a code where you can sign up for this totally for free for 6 months, all the TrialSmith content, in addition to all the other content you get at the association site. So be sure to take advantage of that. And in addition, I'm going to be out in the hall here for the next couple of days if you want to come by and get your account set up. Yes, sir?
You briefly mentioned an option to search for juror background stuff. That's available on?
The juror profiles, it's called JurySmith. And it's available. You have to order it through trialsmith.com. This is the one thing you have to order through us. We have a toll-free number here, but essentially how it works is we know a lot of times you get this juror list, 60 minutes or maybe 30 minutes before trial. So if you plan on running these profiles, you call our 800 number, talk to our researchers, and say, hey, I've got a trial tomorrow. You fax your jury list in, and within 30 minutes, we'll try to send you all the reports. We focus on the first 30 jurors, but you can run as many as you like, and it's It's $11 per juror. So it's pretty affordable.
And how fast is it?
To run the report?
How fast do you, once you get it back?
When we get a report, we try to get the first 30 names to you in 30 minutes. So we send you a separate PDF on each juror. And it's very in-depth. We are working with a company, someone who split off from Lexus. It's called TLO. It stands for The Last One. And he was kind of a renegade at Lexus, and he has his non-compete expired, and so he's now formed this new company. And they have, it's a really, really powerful tool. But we'll, basically what we do is we give you a profile that has all of the databases you can see here, criminal history in its state and federal, possible employers, historical addresses. We also give you the names of people they live with, voter history in some states, driver's license information, vehicles. It's very, very comprehensive. Yes?
I signed up for TLO this week myself, and I found out that it's incredible. It even gives people's email addresses, like their personal email addresses, so it's an amazing tool.
Yeah. One thing I'll tell you, if we do these searches for you, they're $11, but if you do the searches, they're $5. So we provide the convenience factor of getting the searches back to you, but if you have your own TLO account, you can do the same search we do for $5. So I think when you check, it's really fast too. It is amazingly fast and powerful. So, any other search tips or questions? Okay, well, we hope to see you outside, and please get online. There's a lot of information available at the Washington and Oregon sites. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Kent. And as you heard, if you're a member of both organizations, OTLA and WSAJ, you get kind of double the bang for your buck there on the website. So it's important to consider joining both organizations. It's also important to contribute to OTLA Guardians and the WSAJ Eagle Pack because, again, you also get extra access to information on both of the websites. That's something that everyone should be a member of. Not only does it benefit our clients and the organizations, but
I'll be happy to help you. So they have made it pretty easy here to join. There is the first link on their website is Join Apply Now, and that's how you join the Oregon Trial Lawyers. And Washington State, if you wish to join their association, they have a link right at the very top, Join WSAJ.
can you also join the Eagles and the Guardians on both those websites?
Yes, you can. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you again, Kent. And thanks to all of today's speakers. Now, tomorrow morning, we're going to begin at 9 o'clock. And we'll start with the always entertaining and somewhat unpredictable Bill Barton. But for now, we're going to break for the welcome reception and dinner. The reception starts at 6:30 at the Roslyn Meadow behind the inn. And it will be followed by the new lawyer social poker tournament at 9 o'clock inside the inn at the Gas Lamp Grill. Remember to fill out your green evaluations and leave them on the table. And we'll see you tomorrow morning.